Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode of the time manipulation series. Today we're going to be diving into setting up an item that can be reversed in time and space, returning back to its previous position. If you haven't checked out the first episode, I highly recommend giving that one a watch first. And before we get started, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. To get started, let's go ahead and create our item that will handle all of our reverse actions. Go ahead and create a blueprint actor. And let's just call this our item. Go ahead and open that up. Inside of our blueprint, let's go ahead and make a static mesh that we can interact with and see. I like to set this to the barrel here. And then we want to turn on simulate physics. If we go over to the event graph, we're going to need overlap or tick. So the first thing we're going to do is actually create a few variables that we're going to use for this. We want to be able to get the latest transform of our item. Set that to transform type. Let's create another. This one we want to do a snapshot array. This is going to be an array that stores the snapshots of its previous positions. Let's set this to a transform array. And then we're going to create one more variable, and we're going to call this reverse time index. This is what we'll use to determine how far back in time we'll actually have our item returned to. Go ahead and make that a single integer. Go ahead and save that. So to start with, off of our begin play, we want to check to make sure our array is not going to be empty, which will populate that as we go. So go ahead and get length of this array. We want length -1. And then for this, we're going to do a greater equal, and we're going to make sure that we have a bigger and or equal, greater and or equal size than the time that we want to return to. Go ahead and do a branch off of this. Connect that up. Now, if this is true, if we have more transforms in our array that's going to cover the amount of time that we want to travel back to, we're going to come off of here and we're going to say set timer by function name. Right now, we're going to do this in 0.1 intervals and go ahead and mark looping. If this is not true, then we are going to come down and do a for loop. And we're going to populate this. So go ahead and pull your reverse time index out. That'll be go into the last index spot. Keep that at 0 for now. And from the loop body, we want to say add, find the add array. Go ahead and connect your snapshot in here. And then what we're going to add to this is the transform from our static mesh that we're going to be using the real world. So pull your static mesh out and say get world transform and plug that up. Go ahead and now we're going to, once this is populated, we're going to then set timer by function name. That should do it for the begin play. If the array's indexes are not greater than or at least equal to our reverse time index, it goes ahead and it populates those. It fills the array to make that a true statement, and then it runs the set timer by function name. So the function that we're going to run every 0.1 seconds, we're going to call take snapshot. So let's go ahead and create another custom event down here and name this take snapshot. Go back to your set timer by function name, and then here, take snapshot. So now with our snapshot, the first thing we want to do is set our latest transform. Every 0.1 seconds is going to take a snapshot of the player's or of the item's transform. So every snapshot, we want to set its latest transform. Go ahead and set that there. And to set this, we're going to pull our static mesh back out. Get world transform. And then we want to add this snapshot into our array. So go ahead and pull your array out. Say add. And then we're going to add this latest transform to that. Then from here, we also, again, want to check the length. So go ahead and get our snapshot array back out. Say length. Do this -1. Again, we're going to do a greater than. And then we're going to do the reverse time here. And if this is true, go ahead and get a branch. If this is true, then we want to do a remove index of our snapshot array. And we want to remove that very first index. We're doing this so that we don't overpopulate our array. We're going to keep it limited to every time one comes in, one goes out. Anything over 50, or not 50, anything over what you set your reverse time index to. Right now, we'll start with 50. That'll end up equaling out to be about 1 or 5 seconds. We'll discuss that part later. So that's going to be it for the take snapshot. So now every 0.1 seconds, this timer will run this function, take snapshot, where it will reset the latest transform and add that to our array. And it'll remove the very first index in that array. So now we're going to create our reverse time function. So go ahead and create a new custom event. Call this reverse time. And from here, one of the first things we want to do is remove the physics from this item to avoid odd collisions or any kind of crazy reaction. So grab your static mesh reference out, say set simulate physics. This will turn the physics off. Next, we're going to set up a timeline that's going to handle our reverse actions. Let's call this reverse timeline. And go ahead and connect the execution pin down to reverse. From here, the main objective of this, every update, we're going to update the world transform of our item. So pull your item back out and say set world transform. Go ahead and grab that. Connect that up. Let's open up the reverse timeline and set your length to 1 here. You can adjust all this as you see fit for your project. We're going to do 1 there, add a flow track. Right click to add key. The first is going to be 0, 0. Add another key. This one's going to be 1, 1. Get this nice linear timeline. Oh, yeah, that's still need to update this, but we have our timeline here. From our timeline, we're going to take the new track and we're actually going to do a lerp transform. This transform is going to be our new transform for our static mesh. And then to get these transforms, we're going to get the latest transform, and then we're going to get the transform prior to this. So let's go ahead and pull our snapshot array out, get snapshot. Let's do a get length. For this, we want the length of this, which will be the last index, and we're going to subtract our reverse time index. Go ahead and pull out your snapshot array again. This time we're going to get a copy. Plug up your index to this. This is going to be our in our A. And then for this, we're just going to take this latest transform and plug it directly in. Go ahead, compile, save that. So once this runs through and is finished, to avoid some kind of odd behavior with our items, we're going to take this finish pin. Let's go ahead and set a delay. Probably just 1 second is good for this for now. After this delay, we're going to reset the physics. Go ahead and grab your static mesh back out and say set simulate physics. Connect that back up and check the true. The next thing we want to do here is we want to, after we return to our position, we want to clear the array. This will allow us to set the latest transform and fill the array with its position after being set back to normal, which kind of avoids some odd behavior with the item jumping around. Here, now that this is clear, we want to do another check to see if our array has enough indices to match our reverse time again. So pull the reverse time back out. Go ahead and pull your snapshot array back out. Set your length. Again, we're going to do this length, subtract 1, do a greater or equal, plug that in. We know this is going to be false since it clears it out unless your time is 0, but it's most likely going to be false. So we're going to only worry about the false for now. Go ahead and pull this out. We're going to say another for loop. Plug your reverse time index into your last index. From the loop body, we're going to add this latest transform into our add. Pull your static mesh back out. Get a world transform. Go ahead and pull our snapshot array out. Get that and do an add. Plug that back up. Set the value. And that takes care of that. So the next thing we need to do is go into our player character, and we're going to give him a way to interact with this reverse item. So I have this 3 key here. You can use any key that is convenient. We're going to go off of this, and we're going to say get actors of class. Go ahead and do that R item. From here, pull out of your out class and do a for each loop. Connect up your execution pin. And then from here, we want to call that reverse time function. Let's deal with that. So say reverse time. Connect that to the execution pin, and this should be set. The next thing we need to do is go test it. Go ahead and make sure you save all. Pull your item out into the world. Pull a couple. And now when I interact with these, they should leave their position. And once I hit 3, they should return to their position, just like that. Our items aren't tracking back. They're just kind of appearing back. We want to kind of see that animation. So I connected this to the wrong area. Let's go ahead and move that to reverse from end. This will find the end position and reverse it based on the timeline backwards. So now let's test that out. And now we get some actual animation, some motion, and our items are returning where they go. So this can be extremely useful in your game for all kinds of cool features. There's many ways to manipulate this, to change it, to tweak it for your own project. You can change the time that it'll reverse to. You can make it shorter where it won't reverse all the way back. Plenty of ways to customize it. Going through the code, definitely some more efficient ways you can handle some of these things, making some functions that handle checks like this, Anything that repeats itself could be handled in just a single function. But there you have it. And that's going to do it for this episode of Time Manipulation. In this episode, we set up an item that can be used to reverse in time and space. Keep in mind that this concept can be easily customized to fit a multitude of projects, so don't be afraid to get creative and adapt it to your needs. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and I hope it inspired you to explore new possibilities. Don't forget to give this a like. Please subscribe so you stay connected for all future content. As always, happy developing, and I'll see you in the next one.